Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the most magical podcast in the Midwest. That's right, the Magic in the Midwest podcast, starring USA Today best-selling author J.B. Michaels and his more successful wife, Ashley Michaels. And now, your hosts. Wow, thank you so much, announcer. We are the hosts. I am J.B. Michaels, USA Today best-selling author of many, many books, including the brand new Raftery's Ghost, a Mac and Millie Mystery, which is out now, ladies and gentlemen. Out right now. It just came out Friday. Super excited about it. And I am joined here by my lovely wife, who is...
Ashley Michaels. Hello, everyone.
Hello. This is the 102nd Magic in the Midwest podcast. So that's pretty amazing. Okay. So now. Okay. So we have an exciting podcast for you. Remember, all of these podcasts are brought to you by the subscriber-exclusive episodes, Magic in the Midwest Podcast.bandcamp.com. There's a ton of those. If you want to, for as little as $3 a month, subscribe to those, which is pretty great. And then, of course, we have the many works of J.B. Michaels. Check out MrMichaels.com for all of that information on my books, the Mac and Millie Mystery Series, the horror classic series, Chronicles of the Order, and, of course, the middle grade action-adventure holiday phenomenon, known as the Tannenbaum Tailors. Yes, so we have a lot of fun, things for you guys to check out. It's not just the podcast. But also, we have met some great people through the podcast, and the person who helps us book these trips that we talk to you guys about is...
Emily over at Magical Mouse Travel. She is a vacation planner but specializes in Disney Universal and Disney Cruise Line. She has become a great friend of ours through the podcast, also located in the Midwest, and she travels to Orlando very often, so she's up on the latest all the time. If you're looking to book a trip, I would definitely reach out to her. The best way to reach her is through email, emily@magicalmousetravel.com, and you guys... It would be a misstep not to reach out. She does all of the things. She will send you a customized itinerary for free, book all of your dining, resorts, can do airport transfers, like I said, all free of charge. So definitely give Emily a shout, and if you do, just let her know that we sent you over.
Yes, Emily at Magical Mouse Travel. Thank you very much. So on the 102nd podcast, you guys, we just got back from... Halloween Horror Nights 31, and wow, we have a lot to unpack, a lot to talk about, and it is, I can't believe it, but it's already been like over, a couple of weeks. Jeez, really?
We got back a week ago yesterday. Yes. So, and again, we just stayed, it was a quick trip again to Universal Orlando. We just stayed for 3 nights. We Super
did
quick.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, came home on Sunday. And, I feel like that's all, again, we were able to do things multiple times and do most of all the parks and everything within that time frame.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of fun, and we had, it's just a blast. And... we stayed at Royal Pacific again, and this time we stayed at a different tower. So last time we were in Tower 3, which we had a pool view, and then this time we were actually in Tower 1 with a water view, meaning the water, like the little waterways that the boat transportation takes to take you to and from the resort and Universal City Walk. So that was actually really great, and totally prefer Tower 1. So if you guys ever, want to stay at Royal Pac, I would request Tower 1.
I would too. Like JB said, it might have just been, because of the time of year, when we went in August, there was it was a little bit louder on our floor and everything, and we were in the room earlier than we were
right because of Harrison.
Plus, the event of HHN, we were out late.
Yeah.
this time around. So if anyone was being loud at 10 p.m., we wouldn't have known.
Right.
Because we were gone. But I definitely prefer, I would tend to agree. If I called back to make another reservation, I would say let's request
Tower 1.
Tower 1. Also to say, Emily booked this trip for us. So kudos to her. We had an awesome view.
Yes.
And,
our view was amazing.
It was perfect.
Yeah, I mean, we had the view of the entire Universal Islands of Adventure park. I mean,
And what was neat about the way our room was aligned with the park rides was that that big drop for Velocicoaster, it's like that it goes up and then right back down, looked like it was going right over the Hogwarts castle.
yeah,
It looked like it had built right on top of it, which
Yes.
obviously it hasn't. It was just the way it looked from our room, which was
Right.
kind of cool. But it was
Right.
it was a great room, and the view was amazing.
yes. So it's sort of the coaster framed the main turret of Hogwarts, which was really cool.
Yes, the only other thing to note about Tower 1 is when we were in Tower 3, we were closer to, like, when you would come out of Tower 3, like, out of the elevators.
Closer
on
to the
level,
pool.
Still level 3, I guess, of the main lobby of the hotel. That sushi bar is right below you, and so when they have live music, you can definitely hear it if you're in Tower 3. So Tower 1, I feel like, is maybe a little bit more quiet. I could be wrong, but that's just
Tower
my-
1, you mean?
Tower 1 is a little bit more quiet, I'm sorry, than
Yeah,
Tower 3.
yeah.
Yes.
Tower 1 is quieter, and it's also closer to the walkway, so you're actually physically closer to, like, the walkway to get to, Isles of Adventure and, studios. But yeah, we had a great view. We were up on the top floor of Tower 1. We were seventh floor. And I will say Tower 3 has the concierge level. So I don't know if you care about that, but if you stay in club level, concierge level, Tower 3 has that, but Tower 1 does not.
Okay.
But Tower 1 was still, I think, superior, both in just sound and, I mean, I think it helped that we were up high too.
Yeah.
It was great. I mean, it was awesome. I slept super soundly.
Yeah. Well, in Tower 3, we were also off the pool, on poolside, so I feel like they play music all day, and so if you're in your room at all, you hear the bass of the music, pretty clearly.
Pretty clearly, yes.
So, I mean, it
yes.
just depends. If that's not the type of thing that bothers you, then fine, but it literally goes all day. So,
Yeah.
just another thing to think about.
Yes. So, so it was. It was a very fun, really wonderful experience staying there. This time. So it was great. Royal Pack is awesome. So what we did we came in, we got ourselves ready, kind of settled into the room. The room was ready when we got there, and it was before 4:00. So, it was technically ready a little bit earlier. And we got ourselves dressed, and then we went and met up with our group, group that we usually go with for Halloween Horror Nights. And so we entered early. So we had our annual passes. We used them to get into the parks early, and then we went over to Richter Burger, which is actually a new staging area for, like, Stay and Scream. Like, you could go there or chill and then, like, get in line for the houses at like 5:45 they open. So we did that. We got a burger, which I was not, the burger at Richter Burger was,
It was dryish.
it's like, I feel like they can, I don't know, I feel like they could up their burger game. Like, it was okay. It was not,
I got the chicken sandwich, which was very good, but you would
Oh,
think
you
a place
did?
called Richter
Yeah.
Burger would be.
So your chicken sandwich was good.
Yeah,
really
it was juicy, wasn't dry. I remember because I took a bite of your burger after I had finished
Yeah,
my
you're like,
chicken
"This is
sandwich,
good."
and I was like, oh, I'm glad I did. Glad I did the chicken sandwich.
Well, I'm going to do that then next time, is do the chicken sandwich instead of the cheeseburger.
Yeah, the burger, like, it tasted a little weird. It was somehow greasy but dry on the inside.
Yeah, it was very strange.
Yeah.
Very strange. Yeah, I didn't have the best burger. So we sat there, we, kind of gathered ourselves, readied ourselves for the awesomeness that is HHN, and had our as Universal Marketing loves for us to say, the Scream Squad was with us and in full force. So the first house that we went to, which is actually on this part of the park, the closest one to Richter Burger, which is in like the San Francisco area, hence Richter Burger, meaning the San Francisco earthquake, the San Andreas Fault, blah blah blah. Any of those. So we did, the first house we went into, Ash, was the Horrors of Blumhouse, which featured two houses and two different IPs: Freaky with Vince Vaughn and Black Phone with Ethan Hawke.
Can I do a quick thing on Richter Burger real quick?
Yeah.
Just, I don't think you mentioned this, but usually it's only Finnegan's and maybe one other place that was open.
This is a new,
and this is a new location. So if you are someone that is gets annoyed with the crowds over at Finnegan's or doesn't want to deal with that, at least for our experience over at Richter Burger, it was way less crowded. No, you don't have the full service bar inside, which I know is a huge draw to Finnegan's. But once we were finished with our meal, we went outside and there was a bar right by Richter Burger where whoever wanted to get a drink grabbed one real quick, and we, had that to enjoy while we were waiting in that line for early access. So just something to think about if you don't want to deal with the crowds over at Finnegan's, that this is a new option, and for now, way less crowded. So
yeah,
think about.
Yeah, it was they added that, so you're right.
We got in, we ordered, we sat down, we ate.
It was pretty empty.
It was.
People don't know about it, and they don't know you can go all the way.
I think that, but I also think people want Finnegan's for the bar inside.
That's true.
But,
That's true.
You do have the bar right outside that you can wait, and there was no line for that. I mean, we got in line for that. We were pretty much up at the beginning for the bar after we left. So
yes, yeah, there's a bar right out there, which is called Chez Alcatraz.
Okay,
so,
I can't remember what it was called.
Which is right outside of Richter Burger. So
that's what I just said.
Yeah. So I know.
Start paying attention.
No, but I'm giving you the name. So, and so basically, it is a. Because it's further back. I don't know if people just don't think about it or they didn't know this time, because the area that we would originally do the Stay and Scream thing was always so crowded. I mean, it still was.
Hot takes with Ash. I hate it.
Yes, Ash just really
it's so crowded. It's almost like it seems like less of an advantage when it's so crowded, because then you're just standing in a mob of people that all rush to the same place. I'm someone that loves efficiencies, so this to me seems
inefficient.
Really stupid.
Yeah.
But that's, we have a lot of friends that like doing it and stuff, and I tend to be a team player. But I much enjoyed our time at Richter Burger and the line that we stood in there. It just was a lot more comfortable, and I didn't feel like we missed out on any time or anything like that. So anyways, it's just my different strokes, guys. Different strokes.
Yes.
Okay, back to the houses, I guess. I just wanted to say that real fast.
Yeah. Horrors of Blumhouse. Okay, so now the first house in these two, because it's actually, they did something different. Mm-hmm. Where the Horrors of Blumhouse in the past was like one tent that like sort of had two like mashed houses together, and like there's no transition really between them but like a sign, and it would just be like, okay, now we're in the Purge Anarchy. Like we were just in Happy Death Day and now we're at Purge Anarchy.
Right? Like it's right there mashed together.
This was better because it actually has like, it was two separate spots. It was in a bigger area by Fast and Furious Supercharged, and the first part was Freaky. And then you walk out of Freaky completely, you're open to the air, and you walk again into a different area. It's the Black Phone. So that was much better. The Freaky house had all the masks and stuff from the movie, like all the ancient masks and stuff like that. The Freaky house was totally
I
totally
was just gonna
forgettable.
say, I don't really remember anything about it other than seeing the girl character with the red leather jacket and thinking, I like that jacket.
Yeah.
That was pretty much it.
It was and I've seen the movie, and I feel like this part of the Horrors of Blumhouse was very forgettable. Like we went at it twice, and
here's the thing about this movie, though. While it's a great movie, a lot of what makes it great is Vince Vaughn, and just because something's a good movie doesn't mean it's a good candidate for a house. I don't feel like this movie was a good candidate for a house.
Right.
Neither do I feel that way for Happy Death Day. I love that movie. I think it's awesome. I think the second one might be even better. But because of the plot of that movie, like things happening over and over again, like a girl waking up in a college dorm room a million times in a row, it just doesn't lend itself to a great house.
No.
Unless you get, I don't know, maybe super creative with it. I mean, I just, like JB said, there's really nothing memorable for me about the freaky part of this house.
Right. Yeah. So, that part, not great.
And it was short.
It was short, too. It was very short. I feel like
this was not divided in half, like two small houses. This, like, for this
I would say it was like almost
30,
60,
70?
40.
Maybe even more.
Yeah.
But I think the Black Phone House felt like almost a regular house.
Yeah, Black Phone did feel longer. So then you walk into Black Phone, which we haven't seen, but I guess if you saw the movie, it was even better because you understood it more. But Black Phone was scary. I think it definitely, if you see the movie, it's better. So if you can give yourself the reference of seeing the movie before you go into Black Phone, Horrors of Blumhouse, it probably helps. It had a couple of good scares in it. I mean, it was cool. I feel like it was very creepy.
It was. I think that movies like this are also hard to be good houses just because, I haven't seen the movie either, but from what I understand, I mean, a lot of what makes movies like that tense are because of the moments where the captive is trying to escape. And those long moments. Well, it's hard to sort of capture that in a house. They're more about jump scares and certain things. But once you started seeing that mask over and over again, like I was sort of like, okay, like I get it.
Right.
Again, we didn't see the movie. I had very low expectations for this house, and it was better than I thought it would be. We went in a second time, and I was not at all against doing that, and notice more things the second time. I mean, it was fun. It wasn't brilliant. It was fun.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it had some moments, I think, for the movie. Obviously, the movie was spoiled because we know what happens now. But
that's our own fault.
Yeah, but that's fine. That's not a big deal. I mean, to be honest, like, it's a movie about child abduction, and it's just not really my thing.
Yeah, most of the time we will watch a movie that's featured in a house before we go. Like JB said, it's just not... with the 7-year-old, for me personally, I just can't do it. I can't watch it right now, maybe later.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. But for a house, it was good. It had some good solid scares in it. It did. Not the most, like, exciting set design, pretty boring. But I mean, I think that's, it takes place mostly in a basement.
Right,
in
sort of
house.
like Happy Death Day, happening a lot in the college dorm room. Like, you're sort of like, okay...
Right. So setting wise, not great. So I would say the Horrors of Blumhouse is, what would you rate it? A, B, C, or 7? What do you think?
Let's do out of 10. I would say
a 6.
Yeah, 6.5, 6.
Maybe 5.5.
I feel like 7's too high. So I'm
7's way too high. Yeah. I would say 6, but this is only Ash and I's. Like, some people in our group loved it way more. So
yeah, which if you've seen the movie, maybe we would feel differently. So
right. Okay, so then we kind of worked our way back towards New York, I believe, after this. And the second house we went into was Fiesta de Chupacabras, right? Chupacabras. Is that the second one?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go through it. I don't remember exactly, but let's do it.
Okay, so again, I there was a podcast about this one, that kind of gave you some context. That was cool. The house itself was well designed. It was a cool like South American village. So think Encanto or that's the type of feel they were going for. South American village, and like there's this cult basically of the Chupacabras cult that like drags people in and sacrifices them to the Chupacabras. So and the Chupacabras is basically like a dog like creature, like a kind of scary feral dog, really at the end of the day, or wolf. It's like a mixture between the two.
Or as Harrison would say, a woof.
A woof. Yeah. So we went through that house. I liked the design of the house. The scares were not really there. I don't know if it was just our run through, but the scares, like I didn't really feel to get scared.
Actually, as you were reading the description, I was sort of like, oh, was that the idea? Because I think I wasn't getting that.
Right.
Again, I think that I agree with you. The setting was really cool. Lots of colors. You don't always see that in houses and stuff. It's a lot more dark greens and blues and grays and whatever.
Right.
So it was kind of neat to see something like this. But yeah, not very scary, and I get spooked pretty easily. A lot of jump scares always get me, but this was not, and not that everything has to be that way to be good, but it was just sort of like,
I feel like they really brought the creature effects, like they had either puppets or maybe animatic type Chupacabras in there, because they were there a couple of different times, which I liked. I mean, I think that's cool. I like the effect itself. But for the actual, it for the actual house, it was and scares, it was probably not. It didn't quite hit the notes that we thought it would. But it was really creative in that way. There's some cool, like if you looked up, you could see that they did spend time building it. So that was neat. Yeah, I mean, not much else to say. There's a woman in there who like is like the head of the family that is worshiping the Chupacabras, and she's wearing a mask, and the mask is like featured throughout the whole house, like the same symbol. And it gets worse and worse. I feel like there was like storm effects in there at the end, or like strobe lights maybe or something.
Maybe.
I thought I had some strobe action towards the end. But still not the best, but so we started out the night not really hitting like some major winners. So what would you rate Fiesta de Chupacabras?
I mean, to me, it's similar to Blumhouse. I would say there was a little bit more to look at for me, so maybe slightly higher, but not a 7, maybe a 6.5.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably say, for me,
You rank it lower if you think it's lower.
Yeah, for me, I think it'd be like a 5. Like,
okay.
It was a 5. It didn't really, like, move the needle that much. I appreciate the puppetry, and I appreciate those elements of it. But it, didn't do it for me in other ways. It didn't really scare me. Whereas Black Phone, I had a creepy feeling because it was creepy. But this wasn't nearly as bad.
Yeah, and I think the issue with that is because there's always been some houses that aren't really meant to be super scary, and then other houses that are. Is that this one, I think they were trying to be scary and weren't. Like in years past, they've done Ghostbusters, right? Where that wasn't like...
And Beetlejuice.
Yeah. Those weren't, like super creepy houses, but they, brought it in other ways and they weren't trying to be. This one, I feel like they were trying to be creepy and it just kind of didn't land.
Right.
So, okay.
Yes, I would agree with you, Ash. And then, where did we go? Where did we go next? Which one?
Halloween?
Do we do Halloween next?
I think so.
Yeah, I think we did. All right, so then we hopped on over to Halloween, and of course, the scary place that the scary house that it is.
Oh my
And
gosh, you guys, I'm so excited to talk about this house.
yes, so this is great. So this is Halloween 1978. This is the original Halloween, not the remake of Halloween 2018 or whatever, but
Or the garbage that followed that.
or the horrible garbage that followed that. Yes, this is
Keep my opinion out of it.
this is Halloween. So when you walk in, you're in the bedroom. You're in. It's very kind of interesting because they structure it kind of. They structure it chronologically, but they also sometimes like you enter a house and it's like this grand thing. Well, that's not what they did here. They chose to kind of go small at first. So you walk in and it's just the bedroom where Michael first kills his sister, Judith. And I was kind of yelling. I was like, okay, well, where's Michael? Well, where is he? And I was being, obnoxious, of course. And the little Michael with the clown outfit comes out right there. It scares the bejesus out of me. It was like on cue. Mm-hmm. I was like, well, where is he? And he goes, he comes out, creepy little, a kid or whoever, I don't know. But yeah, came out, did the thing. And then you walk out of the bedroom, and that's when you see there's like a little sign, John Carpenter's Halloween. And then you're out in the street. And you're out in the street, and it's right outside the mental institution where Michael was being transferred out of, or somewhere. I don't remember what the setup was. Was he being transferred to another place?
Maybe. I don't know. Should we be going through all the details of all the... I don't know if we should.
So
be super
I'm going to do what I want. So basically...
Well, I'm not going to help them. I think that's... We didn't do that with the other houses.
Well, because this one's so good.
Yeah, but maybe people are going to go.
Well, but true. So then you're kind of in the area, where there's the sanitarium and Michael gets out, but Michael's not there, but there's people like behind the fence, like screaming, and it was cool. And the second time we went through, we didn't realize it, but the first time we did not see Loomis,
we
the doctor, but we saw him the second time. So apparently we just missed him. So then you go through, and then you get to Haddonfield, and you see the house, and it basically kind of focuses mostly on the house that Laurie's babysitting. Yeah. And I mean, holy cow! It had some great scares, and it's a really great scares. It had a lot of the distraction type thing where you're looking one direction, and he comes out a different spot, and just lots of Michael Myers everywhere. When you see the house, the first time you see the house, he's up in the corner window, up high, which is really neat. So I mean, just so many great moments in this particular house. I mean, it was just well done from start to finish. They know how to do a Halloween house. Obviously, at this point, they've done it multiple times.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you there because I feel like I've only seen one other Halloween house, and this one was far superior to the other one. And I've heard in years past they've never really done like a super great job. And I will say, upon review, this house, I mean, really wasn't that dark. Wasn't
they keep it light.
Spots, and it's like, but still, it's very scary.
Yes.
And I feel like they really did it justice. Like, they did a really good job. There were several people in our group that were kind of like, oh, Halloween again. And it ended up being their favorite house. It was my favorite house by far. We did it twice, and honestly, I would have done it again before we left.
Right.
If time had allowed. But this house they did not rely on, black sheets and Mike Myers just popping out. There was way more to it. They put a lot more effort into this house, and I think it was the best one.
Yes.
It was just fun. And there was one specific time where you knew he was going to come out of this closet that really wasn't that close by, and he came out, and I knew it was going to happen. And he walked out, and he just walked at me very, powerfully. And he just did, I thought he would stop earlier than he did. I mean, he got really close to me.
Yeah.
And it was just,
Yeah.
it was just fun. We all had fun in that house. And the ending was definitely
Oh yeah,
kind
we
of
won't.
cool and unique and scary. But they did some cool stuff with, like, that they took from the movie but put their own spin on it too. Like the sheets that you see him standing between
Right.
in the movie, they kind of do something unique with that. And, they really did this house right. It was very
Yes. It was maximum like intensity, I feel, throughout. Like
Yes.
there was very rarely was I feeling like any like, oh, keep walking, we're almost done. Sometimes you feel that, like you're like, oh, just we're here we go. Like if things are popping in a house for whatever reason, but this was not that. I mean, this was like, holy cow. Like this was just intense from start to finish.
It was so good. So good.
Yeah, it really was. It was kind of, I guess you're right. I mean, thinking about it from the terms of, having had multiple Halloween houses in the past, people weren't that excited, but they, for whatever reason, I don't know what they did, if they listened to feedback or whatever they did, they just really put the scares together for this one. Just very well done. And I don't, it's one of those weird things, Ash. It's like, is it familiarity that causes us to like this house more, or is it like just because it was better? Like if it wasn't, if we didn't know anything about Halloween and Michael Myers, would it still have been as effective?
Well, I don't know, but I don't know if that's a super fair question either. I mean, you could say that about any house.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, it seems like the last couple of times we've loved the IP houses the most, like Haunting of Hill House. Like we loved.
I mean, yes and no, because I think they actually really did a great job with Haunting of Hill House. And the first year of Stranger Things. The second year, I wasn't thrilled with the Stranger Things 2 and 3 situation.
Right.
Plus, all the Blumhouse stuff, I think, is... I mean, those are technically IP, and... I mean, I don't know.
Right.
Those are just okay
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
And I saw most of the movies, with the exception of Black Phone. Over the years, I've seen most of... And they I feel like they took good care. And there's no way you can't,
Yeah.
Right.
Admit
that they did here. I think this is better than I think this is the best house out of all the years I've gone.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think so. I mean, they nailed it.
Yeah. But see, that's what I mean. Is it like, did they nailed it because you know what I mean? Because we've seen the movie.
Yeah,
and
but
it
that's
nails
what
the
IP
movie, or is it nailed because it's just a really well-designed house?
Well, it's both. I mean, they cared. You could tell in their design and everything and the story that they cared about the movie. But the house, it stood on its own.
Right.
I think so.
Okay.
Stranger Things the first year was really good
Yeah.
too. Haunting of Hill House was good as well.
Yeah.
But this one, I mean, the fact they did it with the lights on a lot of the time and, whatever. I mean, yeah, part of it's because you like the movie Halloween. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't know who Mike Myers is, I still think you would be scared. But would you care? Probably not. But, that's kind of your own deal.
Yeah. It's a very...
If you don't know who Beetlejuice is, do you think that house is really weird?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, so just an excellent,
Yeah, I'm just glad they did it
excellent
so well.
house. That this is why you go to Halloween Horror Nights, right? You go and you get scared and you laugh. And Ash and I laughed and we were having fun, and it was just like, holy cow, this is just intense, And it was just, not. I was with everyone else. I didn't know what to expect. I knew it would probably be good, but this, I think, exceeded expectations. It was.
Oh, it did.
Well done.
I mean, even though I was really looking forward to the house because I love Halloween and Mike Myers, I did not have super high expectations. I thought the Halloween 4 house from 2018 was good. I didn't think it was amazing.
Right.
But I thought, you're also basing off of Halloween 4, so...
Yes, not the best.
Your
movie.
hands are kind of tied at a
Yeah,
certain point.
yeah.
It's not the worst Halloween movie, but certainly not anymore.
Right.
But it they did a really good job, and so it was really exciting to see our whole group just be like, "Oh, that's awesome!" Even the people that were most like, "Ooh, Halloween."
Yes. Yeah. Well, so what would you rate Halloween?
10.
10. Yeah, 10 out of 10. I think it was fantastic. I would agree with you.
Music was good. Everything was good.
Yeah, really, it's why Halloween Horror Nights exists.
Wouldn't it be fun to know how many Michael Myers scare actors were in the house?
Yeah. I wonder
cool to know what the number
what the
was.
cast number is. I'm sure they tell you on the RIP tour or something. Okay. All right. So then, what did we do next? Do you remember? Did we do
Pier?
Descendants, Spirits of the Coven?
No, Descendants was later.
Hellblock Horror, Spirits of the Cove. What did we do next?
It wasn't Dead Man's Pier?
Was it Dead Man's Pier? You want to talk about that now?
Sure.
Let's do it. Dead Man's Pier, Winter's Wake. Okay, so this was an original house done by Universal, Creative, and this is, I think, from what I hear in the internet buzz, is everyone's favorite. Like it's a favorite. I don't know if it's everyone's favorite, but obviously Ashley's favorite is Halloween. But Dead Man's Pier, Winter's Wake, they had a great podcast about it, like a story podcast, and about a Pacific Northwest town that there's a haunted fishing boat that crashes into the pier, and these evil fishermen with meat hooks come out, and fisherman hooks come out and just like start killing everyone. And the made impression. Here's the cool thing about Dead Man's Pier. Dead Man's Pier, when you walk in, you immediately get. It's immediately immersive. The details are there from the start. There's a cool lighthouse in the background. This cool, like, quaint fishing village atmosphere. And it's wintertime, which I feel like they always do winter houses very well. And you walk in, and then there's like a bar, and there's like this crotchety old bartender, like kind of like saying all these things, kind of gearing you up for the house. And this was lit with a lot of like blue and green light, so it was very had a very good aesthetic, very clear aesthetic and design, and it had a lot of great scares, but it also was just awesome to be in. Like, it was just a really cool house. So what are your thoughts there?
So this was easily my second favorite house of this year, and like you're saying, JB, the detail and the atmosphere in this house was matched like by no other house.
Yeah.
I think, and I agree, they do winter houses really well. I don't think this was really that scary of a house. But again, I don't mind that when I think they're really kind of going for something else. This was more about the set design, and I think they really nailed it. Plus, they did a few creative things. One of those things being, normally if you see, sometimes when you walk into a house, they'll have this first scene kind of be almost like this really big, like they're going for scale. And you'll see things that are like on a second story, or like, kind of like on the outside of like a house or something tall. They kind of did this in the middle of the house in this, in Dead Man's Pier. There was like this scene in the middle of the house that was really big in
really
scale,
open,
and
with a big boat.
Wasn't necessarily scary, but like really cool. looking.
Yes. Yeah.
And so it was kind of neat to see that in the middle of a house. And I mean, it was just a blast to walk through. And one of my favorite parts, which maybe other people won't think is funny, is that you yelled, "I know what you did last summer." At one of the scare actors, because they have that fisherman, like,
Yes.
what is that called? Like, slick.
I
what is
almost
that
think,
thing?
I mean, I wonder if they had the license for I Know You Did, and then something happened, because this is
I
basically
mean, the
Know
only
You
reason
Did.
I would say maybe not is because of the detail was so good, and that movie really isn't based so much on there. But yeah, I mean, they did look a lot like that. And you know what's funny is that I felt like most of the scare actors jumping out seemed shorter than me, and I think maybe that was the reason I wasn't really that scared.
Right.
But they all looked the same, pretty much, in the same, fisherman, whatever that's called, that they wear.
Just a rain jacket.
Rain jacket with
basically.
that same cap that they wear.
Yeah.
Hood or whatever. So, which was fine with me that it wasn't as scary, because it was fun to look at all the detail around.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Yeah, and you get to, like you say, that middle part with the huge show scene, basically, with the girl on the top playing the violin. And
When she was like all white. Or
ghostly, right?
Yeah, it was cool.
I mean, it was just wow. I mean, this is why, you kind of remind yourself they're at Universal Studios, right? You're in a park that you're in a place that basically created the horror movie, and all the cool sets from those old school horror movies all the way to today, and it's just all the neat things that they would do in the set design. It was just like, this is Hollywood level immersion.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really great. It's just a temporary thing, until the end of October.
I'm wondering if they reused some stuff from Depths of Fear.
Yes, they did. The portholes.
Okay.
The portholes.
I really
and
like
stuff.
Depths of Fear too. Again, not a super scary house, but really cool.
Yeah.
And well done. This almost seemed like a combination of Depths of Fear and then like the Yeti house.
Right.
Like with the cold and stuff. But and it's really fun to go into the really, really scary houses and go down dark hallways where you can't see anything and you're terrified.
Right.
But it's really fun to balance it out with stuff like this that's super well done, and you can see everything, and the detail's amazing.
Yes. So I mean, what a great experience, and what a great house. Just brilliant from start to finish. Just an awesome just experience to be there, and definitely worth it. Not like Ash said, maybe not the scare per second that Halloween is, but it is awesome. Like, it's just really, really good. What do you give it?
I want you to rank it first. You always make me go.
I'm going to give it so this is, I guess it's a different set of parameters, but I mean, I'm giving it a 10. I'm giving it a 10 too. I mean, it's a 10 because it was just so great. So detailed, so beautiful, so like rich with detail and scares, good scares. And just, I don't know, loved it.
Yeah, for me, I would say the same. If Halloween is the 10 on the really scary column side, for me, this is the 10 on the detail, set design side.
Yeah, it's so good. So well done there. Geez, I think, that'll be good for today, Ash. We still have 6 more houses to talk about.
Some really funny stuff to talk about,
and funny stuff to talk about. Things that happened to us where we just lost it in the middle of houses. But yeah, just a great experience. So really, we hit like 2 of our favorite houses in this podcast: Halloween and Dead Man's Pier, Winter's Wake. Both incredible, and I feel like that's probably a fair assessment but there's still some really strong houses that we have to talk about. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please rate and review us at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, like and subscribe. We love to hear from you guys. So email us at magicinthemidwestpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram and our social channels, and and then reach out to Emily at Magical Mouse Travel if you want to get some more info. Maybe you decided from this podcast you want to go to Halloween Horror Nights for a weekend. Call Em. She'll be able to help you, and she just went herself. and echoed some of the same sentiments that we have with both Dead Man's Beer and Halloween. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, from the Midwest. See you later.